Annyeonghaseyo. This is Martin, live from South Korea in week number 13 of the semester here. There's only about 3.5 weeks before finals, so time's going by even faster. To start off with today, a little preview of what I'll be writing later in the week about my trip to the DMZ. As I said, it was necessary to go to Seoul on the Friday night before because the tour leaves at 7 in the morning, and there's absolutely no way you can get from Shinchang all the way to Seoul within 2 hours and then get checked in at the tour site. So if you're going to do that, I recommend staying at a guest house instead of a jjimjilbang, because at least at a guest house, even if you're in a dormitory type bedroom with a bunch of bunk beds and a lot of other people in there, it's like a youth hostel, but you have a mattress and a pillow, which is not something to be underestimated, really. I've tried sleeping at a jjimjilbang twice, and it didn't work very well because you're on the floor. If at most you're going to have a very thin pad underneath you, and they have these weird pillow things that aren't really pillows, they're kind of rectangular and, shall we say, uncomfortable. It's just hard to get into any kind of position that will allow you to sleep better. Anyway, so stay at a guest house. That's my first recommendation. And then the second recommendation is just, it depends on what tour you're going on, obviously, because different tour companies are going to be organized differently because they're different. But the USO tour, at least, it was good, but we waited a couple of times, just because of, firstly, to make sure that everybody was there before we left, but we still left more or less on time. But at the tour destinations and such, be prepared to have to wait or just kind of push your way through crowds, because there are a lot of people going to the DMZ for tours. I was mistaken in my thinking that Chinese could not go to the DMZ for security reasons, but when I got there, lots of Chinese people, lots of Chinese tourists there. So I guess they can visit both the South and North Korean sites. Mostly Chinese tourists, really, other than South Koreans as well. Couple of high school field trips, it looked like. So it's a popular destination for all sorts of people. Just remember that when you book your trip, that there's going to be lots of other people there. And then sometimes it'll just be delays if you're waiting for a military guide to show up. Also, if you have connections, like one of the people on our tour knew one of the South Korean soldiers who's stationed at the Dora Observatory, and because of that, we were able to get a briefing on the area in English from a South Korean soldier. That was pretty cool. I don't know if it would be different on a different day or a different time of day, but when we went to the joint security area, if you've seen these pictures of that area with the blue houses and then South Korean and North Korean guards, that's a little bit misleading, at least from what I saw, because, as I'll write later in this week, I only actually saw one North Korean soldier, though I think if there had been more, it would have been a lot more scary. Just, to be that close and personal to them. As it was, there were some guard posts, and, you kind of feel like you were being watched, but not as much as if there had been, all the soldiers down there. That said, I think it's a good experience to try at least once. Some parts of the tour were more interesting than others. It was all at least somewhat interesting. And you can look forward to reading about that in my text blog later this week. So stay tuned for part number 2 I'm recording this directly onto my webcam, onto my hard drive, and then uploading to YouTube because the record from webcam feature on YouTube appears to be broken. So, watch for part 2.